Hi viewers, welcome to another edition of My Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host, Malai Hanoputi. Thank you so much for joining me today on another edition of My Clinic Live. So we are going to be looking at why raising your voice at your spouse is bad. Now, I believe that quite a number of people in marriage would have experienced this at one time or the other in their stages of relationship in their marriage. I mean, some would have experienced a form of argument or maybe a little fight that ensued into raising your voice at each other. I would like us to see why raising your voice at your spouse, the one you claim you love, the one you claim to spend the rest of your life with, why it is bad to raise your voice at them. Now, number one reason, when you raise your voice at your spouse, it can be termed as being disrespectful. When you keep raising your voice at them while you are communicating or during any argument, they could term it as you are being disrespectful to them, and they may see it as, oh, you don't even regard them. That's why you could shout, you could yell, or raise your voice at them. No spouse will ever like such a thing. When you raise your voice, at them, they won't like it. So for some, it's a sign of disrespect. They see it as you are disrespecting them and they don't like it. Now look at your kids. When you yell at them, when you shout at them, they don't even like it when you shout at them either. How much more an adult man or an adult woman when you yell and shout at them? I mean, no one will like it. The second reason is that it could ensue into a serious argument. I mean, when both of you are communicating and all of a sudden you start to raise your voice, then you are indirectly telling the other person that you are actually in for a hot argument. So before you know it, it could gravitate into a more serious argument. And when it gravitates into a more serious argument, I tell you, a lot of things would be happening at that point when the argument is becoming hotter. Also, it can be taken as you are being confrontational. I mean, when you raise your voice at anyone, they will see it as you are being confrontational. And when they see it that way, then I tell you, you should expect that they will eventually win the argument, even though what you are saying makes sense. Once they perceive that you are being confrontational about what you are saying, then they will also change their attitude towards you. Another thing is, when they perceive that you are being confrontational, it could lead to fight. It could lead to a fight. It could lead to domestic violence. Now, when people talk about, oh, domestic violence, domestic violence, domestic violence, before it happens, a lot must have ensued, especially verbal abuse. I mean, it usually starts from verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Then before a fight will ensue. Now, the things you say to your spouse matters a lot, and how you say it also matters. How you communicate what you are trying to say that is paining your heart, that is bothering you, also matters a lot. Now, when you are trying to communicate it across and it seems like they are not listening, they don't want to hear you out, and you shout, you yell at them, and you scream about it, I tell you, when it gets into a hot argument and they perceive you are being confrontational, it could break into a fight. And when a fight ensues, that will be too bad for your relationship or for your marriage. And another reason why raising your voice at your spouse is bad is that it could also communicate wrong messages to your children, especially when they are present. When they are present and they see both of you yelling at each other, I tell you, those children, at times they will start crying, at times they will start feeling uncomfortable around you because they will now be like, what is going on? What is happening? And that is why, as couples, whatever misunderstanding you have, try to settle it, behind closed doors, not before your children, not when they are present, not even before an outsider. Whatever it is you feel you need to trash out, try and do it inside your bedroom behind closed doors where no third party will see what is happening, including your children. Now, I want you to know that love relationship does not get soiled overnight. It gets soiled gradually, gradually, a little there, a little here, you know, adds up. When you are talking to your spouse and you started out on a low note, on a low pitch, and all of a sudden you start to raise your voice, then you are simply telling them that they shouldn't listen to what you are saying, because what they will be hearing will be different from what you are hearing. You may think you are communicating, but what they are hearing is something different. They are hearing, "Oh, what all this? You mean she can talk to me like this? He can talk to me like this?" I mean, they are hearing something completely different from what you are saying. And as a result, some of them could overreact. Some of them could take it as criticism. They could take it as you are attacking their person. And especially for those spouse whose temperament are melancholy, and maybe one other temperament like that, that they are of the quiet nature, or they think through their words before they say it. Now, when you yell at such people, when you shout at them, when you raise your voice at them, it makes them to withdraw. They withdraw into their shell. And when they withdraw into their shell like that, you, the spouse, will suffer for it when they are withdrawn. When they are withdrawn, that means they will shut down completely emotionally, even in communication. They will tell themselves literally, "I'm not just going to talk to her or to talk to him." Why? Because they feel hurt when you are raising your voice at them. Now, when your spouse is letting you know that you are beginning to raise your voice and I don't like it, it's very important for you to listen to them and make the necessary adjustments. When you don't make the necessary adjustments, I tell you, you may lose that spouse to the street. That is the truth. There are ladies or people are on the streets that are willing, to help you massage that spouse ego, or talk to that spouse in a loving manner, in a kind manner. And you don't want to lose your spouse to the streets, especially if you have a spouse that is not strong in character, or that is not of a strong character. Some of the men and women we have these days going into marriage have not really cultured themselves. When it comes to character, they've not really developed themselves, or taking time out to develop their character. So when they get too stressed, or they feel they are being overheated in a conversation, or they feel they are suffocated, some of them they go out there, they go to town to look for a relief. And you don't want your spouse to go out there to the street finding relief from all the stress, from all the troubles at home. So I would like to end on this note. Please, communication is very important in marriage, but how we communicate is also very important. How you say the things you say is very, very vital. I, for one, I try as much as possible to communicate with my spouse in a way that is acceptable to him, because at times when I communicate with him in a way that is unacceptable to him, he's going to tell me, "You know what, I didn't hear what you said." That is the honest truth. Until you are ready to communicate with me in an acceptable manner, in a way that I find it acceptable, then I'm not going to listen to you. And over time, I learned, to communicate to him in an acceptable manner. An acceptable manner is a way that will not be perceived that you are being rude, that you are being fussy, that you are being that you are attacking his or her personality. Now, once they perceive that is what you want to start doing, I tell you, they will be withdrawn, and you don't want to put your relationship in a situation whereby you gradually start losing your spouse. No, you don't want to lose them, because marriage is a lifetime journey. And for you who are singles, you are starting out in a relationship, and the relationship, is still new, is still very young, and the person you seem to be dating is already yelling at you, shouting at you, screaming at you at every slightest provocation. Please, you may want to check it very well, because those are bad signs, those are red flags. You don't want to go into a relationship with someone who will end up eating you, beating you blue black. Because if you don't have peace at home, I tell you, you will not have peace, in your life generally. All the other areas of your life will be affected. But when you're enjoying peace at home, then every other area, will seem to run smoothly as well. Why? Because it is from the home you are getting the strength you have to do the things you are doing out there. So, please, let's learn to communicate with our spouses in an acceptable manner. Don't be rude to them. Be polite. Say it in a way that is acceptable to them. Don't raise your voice, even though you are angry that they are not getting the point. You could just say, "Oh, my love, darling, what I'm trying to say is that," and if they are not getting it, you will say, "Please, why not just try and listen to me, because I'm trying to make a point out of what I'm saying. I'm going somewhere. Just be patient with me. Listen to me." Now, when you say that, a sane man or a sane woman will listen to you and hear you to the end of the conversation. I'd like to stop here now. I hope you have learned a lot. Please, if you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button. We would like to hear from you. And please do put in the comment section below what you think, or what has been your experience each time you raise your voice at your spouse. How does it end? I remain your host, Moralaya Han Okuti. Till we meet again, I say bye bye.